Hello, my sheeple. I have kind of a actual long form video this time, which is a little bit odd for me nowadays since I've been actually mostly focusing on shorts. I don't like shorts, not at all. I don't even like to scroll through shorts anymore. But now that I have a new camera and all that, I think instead of wasting on shorts, I think I might actually use it for long form content. So I guess I'll bring back a dead little series that I put here, which I was planning on in the first place. A lot has changed since then, so I'm kind of going to revamp it. Uh, my mod for this game called Inscription. If you've never heard of it, it's a game made by Daniel Mullins. Very cool guy. Never talked to him personally, obviously, but I kind of wish I have. Um, he made this game called Inscription around 2018 time, and I fell in love with it. I instantly loved the vibe of it. I instantly loved the style. I loved the cards because it's a card game. Oh, I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's a little bit of a little known game. It got Game of the Year like twice in a row, I'm pretty sure. And I'm a big fan of it. And so I've always been my dream to like make a different version of the game since I'm also a big Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, name it I probably played it type of card game guy. So I thought about making another one a little bit more hard, a little bit more special, a little bit more D&D maybe. And I came up with this Map of the Scrybe. And it's made by me, Mark Reeks. Alias. Don't worry about it. It's not important. Don't look back on my older videos. You won't find my actual name. Totally not. Mark Reeks, yes. And this game, oh my gosh, so big. And sorry, Daniel Mullins, I know you'll never see this video, but if this video somehow goes viral, which it probably won't, since I'm a very small time creator, and I probably won't even post this game in general, since I'm not much of a game developer, I'm more of a game imaginer, I guess you can call it. There's so much in this game that I have a Google Doc that ranges in around 107 pages of just rules, cards, events, characters, lore, because there's so much lore in this game, and I fell in love with the idea of making this a reality. And in a way, I've kind of made it already a reality since it's a more D&D style game. You can kind of just play it anywhere with your imagination. Now, it's not the full extent of the game since it's a card game and you need cards, and cards are expensive to make and print and make art for, and takes time, and it gets into a rabbit hole of you just can't do it. Now, not to waste your time any longer than I have to, I feel like we should split this up into episodes and into different sections, into different parts, because I feel like that'd be more fair to you having a longer, not a longer experience just to watch a single guy ramble on for about an hour or two about a card game that's probably never even going to be seen or made unless he has a lot of help. Okay. Whew. There's a section here called the book contents, which is just purely everything that is in here. And I guess I'll go top down, make this episode 1. Okay, book contents. Starting at section 1. Setup and fair hand mechanic. I'll kind of go into a little bit of depth what that is in a second, since that's actually going to be the first thing we're going to talk about. Cost rules, which is basically just what are the costs, how do the cards work, how do you play them. Starvation, buy and trade of cards. Since this is a card game, trading cards and buying cards and little secret tiny events that happen are very important. Boss battle and rules, basically just how you play battles, how boss battles interact with you and with the other players that you're playing with, since this is a multiplayer game, unlike Inscription, which is a single player game. Items, which is just different items that you can have, like in Inscription. Boon cards, which are also in Inscription, but I changed them a lot from what they were before. Character interactions, which is a really short section, so I might like team that up with sigils or something, since sigils, the next one, is super long. I think that itself goes on for like 20 pages, which is insane. Starting decks, which is what you start out with as soon as you start a new campaign, which is what they're called, campaigns like D&D, since I'm a big D&D fan as well. Of course I am. Sets, cards, and card sets and base, which is basically like different attacks that the cards do, how rare the cards are, like the common cards or rare cards, and so on and so forth. Then you have not suggested for new player stuff, which is like stuff that's like more extreme, like they get super long. All cards and types, which is every single card in the game, every single type of card, kind of. I'm still working on it. This game has been a work in progress for like 2 years now. Characters, which is all the characters that you can interact with, all the characters you can see. Some characters are not put in there because they're like special event characters, and heck, you can even add your own characters if you were to want to play this for some reason, which I don't know why you would. Lore, I've only gotten around 4 sections done. It's already around 20 pages long of lore. There's a lot of lore in this game. All you lore heads out there, Matt Pat, you'll love this. Openings and strategies, also one of my favorites because I named every single opening and every single strategy because I'm a big chess guy as well. I love gambits. I love that word gambit. It just sounds like powerful. So imagining that in a card game just sounds so cool. So I just call them strategies, also called gambits. And they're just different things you can play, different styles of playing, what you can put in your deck to make it better or have a different strategy to go for. If you were to like not know how to play the game or something, you can be like, oh, I can play this type of gambit and it might be a little bit fun compared to this other gambit, or me just not knowing what to do. Openings is just how you play cards in the first hand. It's pretty simple. Okay, now that I got the rundown of book contents, let's get into the first section. Okay, not that much of a time jump, honestly, but might be a little bit longer than you think. Okay, number 1. Setup and fair hand mechanic. Let me explain the setup on how you start a campaign, which is called the beginning. Pretty simple. Okay. All players, it can be 3 to around, I believe, 5, 6 players. It depends on how big you really want to get it, but it really depends. You all start on the center island, and you each get to choose a type of starting deck. I'll get to starting decks later, but I'll give you a short form of it. Basically, there's starter cards that you get right off the bat, so you don't have nothing. That'd be a little bit unfair if you just had nothing. Choosing your starting deck. That's part 2 with this. Players choose their starting deck consisting of 12 cards. You can change, swap, and add cards to your deck. Meaning, like, if you get more cards other than your 20, you can add them to your deck. And they can get as big as you want. You can have as much as 20 cards, so 20 cards is the minimum, and as much as you want after that. Obviously, if you want to pay for them, since cards are very expensive to make nowadays. Okay, section 10 is in starting decks, which might be a little bit long for all you guys to listen to. Okay, choosing a land. This is also a very important thing. This comes in with map stuff. Choosing a land means choosing basically what type of cards, items, abilities can be unlocked or bought, as well as character lore and themes that you'll meet along the way. So technically, I'll just jump to it right now. There's 6 main lands, 2 smaller islands, and 1 larger island, which is different than Inscription since there's no larger outer island, and there's kind of really only 2 little lands as well, except mine are a little bit different, kind of, not really. So the 6 major lands are the ones you'd expect. You know, there's the one of Magnificus, there's one of Grimoire, there's one of Leshy, and there's one of PL3. But then I have 2 more. What are the 2 other ones that are super important? Well, they're the new Scribes that I'll talk about in a bit. Okay, so once they all choose a land, they vote on which land to choose. It has to be a main land, though. It has to be one of the 6. Okay, once they're there, they must stay there until all subordinates are defeated. Subordinates, if you don't know, are like people you have to battle to get to the Scrybe, which is like the main boss, usually. Once they're all defeated, you can roam. You can just go anywhere you want, really. And you can separate. You can, like, say that, oh, I'm going to this place, and someone else can say, oh, I'm going to this other place. And that's totally fine. But it's suggested, from my experience playtesting, that you should stay together, really, because it's better so you can trade, because trading can only happen when you're close to each other, and that's a big thing. That's a big part of the game, trading cards. Okay, now to part 2 of this, battles, setting up the board. To set up the board, you must have a way to keep up gems, bones, batteries, dice, and things like blood. Although blood is pretty easy to calculate, so you don't really need to keep track of it. It's more of like, I know this thing can be sacrificed. We'll get into that as well as later. Scales, you have the way to keep damage on the board so you can tell who's going to win or who's going to lose. Also, make sure you have a clear way to end your turn, since I have had a lot of people that, like, when you're playing with someone and you don't have a clear way to tell someone, hey, I'm done playing my turn, it's your turn now. Either they play a card when they're out of turn, and that can be a little bit annoying, or they might not even know you're done and might just sit there for half an hour. Don't ask me how I know. So, also, before you start a battle, you can select up to 2 boons, one from one player, one from the other player, but we'll get into boons later as well. That's a little bit complicated right now. 2, fair hand mechanic. Very, very important part of the game to make sure it stays fair and everyone can actually have a good time. So to draw your first hand, how you start a battle is you must shuffle your deck. Pretty simple. After that, go through your deck one at a time until you find a card that's either free or a side card. Side cards are like little cards that do nothing really, but has a jumping point that you can play other cards from. Like, if you ever played Inscription, you have a squirrel where you can sacrifice it and play a higher power card that costs more. Pretty simple. And after you get that free card, you shuffle it up again and you draw 3 more cards. That's your starting hand. The first card is called your fair hand mechanics card. Fair hand card. It's pretty simple. That's your starting hand. It's pretty simple. Who goes first? So, it depends on who you're playing with, but usually, if it's player against player, like there's a DM. Usually, there's a person that's running the whole thing, so everything can stay in line. Everyone knows what they're doing. It's usually the person, like me, that knows most of the game and how it works and how it runs and stuff you can and can't do. But if it's player against player, like if you had a player here and a player there, not you, not the DM, they roll a d6, like a 1d6, and whoever gets the highest number goes first. Pretty simple. But when it's fighting the DM, let's say that like you're in a subordinate battle, you're fighting for fun just because you want to fight and you're bored. When it's playing against the DM, the player always goes first. The DM never gets to play first. Never. It's always been a rule. Alright. It's been around 12 minutes now. So, if you like this is part 1. I'll mark this as part 1, Map of the Scrybe. If you like this, smash the like button, please. It's a big help. I'm only asking you now because it's the end of the video. If you really like this and you like my channel and you want to see more of it, I do suggest you hit the subscribe button to really tell me, hey, I like this. But then again, it's always your choice. I'll never force you to do anything because I really can't. And I think that'll be all. I'll see you later for part 2. Goodbye, my sheeps.